Thank you, my brother Conry. I think what we're talking about and dealing with here is nothing short of what you call political demagoguery. And that is the challenge that we have. First of all, for starters, we need to understand and comprehend where the Electoral Commission is coming from. The Electoral Commission is making an argument and saying, listen, by virtue of what? Of the Political Parties and Other Organizations Act, Section 7C1 has, guidelines in which for someone, if you want to register a party. In others, there shouldn't be anything that is similar to any other existing party. Section 8 creates those limitations by, exactly pointing out the shortcomings that if a party, for example, has simulators in terms of color, in terms of slogan, then we should not go and register. Even when you argue using IP, in terms of arguments, in terms of the explanation of similarity, talk about, phonetic similarity, talk about visual similarity, talk about arguments that would augur in terms of things that look alike. These two substantive parties have a lot of similarities, and that is what the Electoral Commission is struggling with. Now, if we want to give them a benefit of doubt, to give these people who want to begin another party or to register another party, then we should also move under the assumption that there is not bad faith or malafide that is involved in terms of the registration. We could argue and say that because of the break-off or the intended break-off or the intended disbandment of the so-called FDC, these people are coming in what they call a frivolous way, a vexatious way that is not in good faith, and therefore there are suspicions to believe that the whole thing is tended with malafide.
What I want to understand also, Prof, what is at play? Is it the law or politics? And how possible is it that the Electoral Commission is playing politics too?
In the point that I just explained, Section 7C1 is very clear. Section 8 is very clear. It bars any organization if there is substantive similarity in light of what I just explained. So there is a question of law here. But there is also a question of similarity in terms of bad faith that's spilling over. Perhaps it's a question of a misconception of what we call, in terms of what we call a political dispensation, multi-party political dispensation, failing to realize that we in this country may not really have these so-called different political parties, but perhaps glorified political classrooms that are presided over by these individualized head prefects or class leaders who fail to put their classrooms in order. Maybe we should agree that we have a nation that is provided over by a one-party system, and all these are simply proxies that are struggling for power or for monies. The other party is blaming the others of taking money. There are counter-accusations from both sides. So wake up and smell the coffee, in short.
Prof, what do both sides need to do to reach a common ground?
Well, we have alternative dispute resolutions. I think in my option, the best option would have been, and perhaps even Kizza Besigye, having been a forefront at the political dispensation of this country, where there are no better amenities in terms of trying to come to a consensus at ADEM, wouldn't they have agreed? Wouldn't they perhaps have engaged in an inside fight rather than exposing their leanings out to the public to the detriment of the people, the unsuspecting people? These are things that political demagogues engage in at the expense of unsuspecting people.
Professor Albogo, many thanks for speaking to us this evening and sharing your insights with us. He's a law don with Makerere University.